How to rent an apartment in Monaco.
I recently traveled to Monaco to learn about renting or buying real estate in Principality for foreigners. My colleague Florian Valeri, a Monagasque and owner of a real estate agency, will help me find the answers to all my questions. Can foreigners rent a property in Monaco?
Yes, everybody can rent an apartment here in Monaco. Not everybody needs to apply for the residency. You can also rent an apartment as a pied-à-terre, but everybody is free to rent an apartment in Monaco.
What is the average rental price of a property in Monaco?
The average price obviously depends on many factors, but if we talk about studio, it's around 2,000, 3,000 per month. One bedroom between 4,000 up to 5,000, 6,000. Two bedrooms between 6 to 8, 10,000. But you can also have apartments and properties that are rented over 100,000 per month. So it really depends.
What is the average rental term of an apartment? Is it a short-term rental or a long-term rental?
Normally it's for 1 year because when you apply for your residency, you need to provide a 1 year contract minimum. After, if you are going into the bigger units, since the cost of moving in and out is much more expensive and it takes much more time, usually we are trying to negotiate contracts for at least 3 years.
What are the costs associated with renting a flat? Is a deposit required?
I will list you the different expenses that you will have. So normally the rent is paid by quarter. The deposit is usually 3 months. It can be up to 4 months. You have the registering tax of 1% calculated on the overall rent and of the length of your lease. The agency fees are 10% plus VAT, so 12% based on the first year rental. Other than that, you might have a certain cost for the inventory when you enter and when you leave the apartments. Depending on the size, it's between 500 euros up to 2,000-3,000 euros.
What are the monthly maintenance costs?
You have the charges to pay to the condominium, so a part is paid by the landlord and a part is paid by the tenant. In average, it's around 5 to 10% of your rent. So it costs a couple of €100 in average. If you are talking about bigger units in the newest residency, it can be a couple of €1,000 per month.
How do I search for a rental apartment in Monaco? Is there a system like MLS in America or a website with all the listings?
Here in Monaco, it's a village, so everybody knows everybody. So you will have obviously the properties that everybody can access through internet, but we have also properties that we keep off market, even for the rental side, and we have like wishing lists of potential clients, and this will be obviously the first people to be aware about a new availability on the market. And we are also collaborating with all the other agencies here in Monaco. Just to give you a number, we have 160 real estate agencies here in Monaco. So it's a lot. Out of this 160, you have probably 30 agencies that are really working on a daily basis with volume of transactions. And normally we all share together our database and we collaborate a lot, whether it's for rent or whether it's for buying.
Is there a difference in the rental price if I find an apartment myself or if I go to an agency? How much do I have to pay an agency to help me find a flat?
No, it's still the same. Most of the time, all the apartments will be managed by a professional, and when it's not the case, it will be promoted by the professional, and the agency fees are regulated. As I told you before, it's like 10% plus VAT, so 12% calculated only on your first year rental. So after, if you stay longer, the agency will not charge anything else.
So we have learned about renting, now let's find out about buying a property in Monaco. Can foreigners buy a property in Monaco?
Everybody can buy here in Monaco. The only thing is that the Monegasque authorities really are striving to comply with the European intentions about the anti-money laundering and other checks that will be done on the source of the revenue that will be used to basically proceed to your acquisition in the Principality. So this will be checked basically by the banks, by the agencies as well, also by the lawyers and by the police. So if you comply these rules in terms of financial compliance, everybody can buy in Monaco.
What is the procedure for buying a property in Monaco?
First of all, obviously, is to source the good property. Once you will have found the property, you will have to make a proper formal offer by written. I just remind you that the legal language here in Monaco is the French. So you have to do all the formalities in French. Once the offer will be submitted to the seller, and if the seller accepts that, the registration will have to be done in front of the notary, and the notary will obviously make some verifications about the origin of the property and about your profile. You can pass through the step of the preliminary agreement with the notary, or sometimes go directly to the final deed, so it can be really quick.
What is the average processing time for buying a property?
It depends, because if you need funding from a bank, obviously it will take a bit of time, because the bank will have to compile different documents to give you the final approval on the property that you targeted. So if it's with a bank, I will say in average we are talking about 2 to 3 months, depending also how much you are advanced with your bank when you will basically make the offer. If there is no credit, no mortgage, no funding needed, and that you are liquid and a cash buyer, I will say, it can be basically done in less than 2 weeks. Just the time for the agencies and the notary to prepare all the documents, make all the different checkings by ensuring you that there is no hidden things or problems behind the property that you will buy.
What are the taxes on buying property in Monaco?
If you own it directly under your name or through a Monagasque company such as SCI or SCP, it's 4.5% of registering tax, plus after you have the notary fees of 1.5% and the agency fees that are in general 3.3% plus VAT of 20%. So overall we are talking about 9.6% on the top of the price that you will offer to the seller. If you want to own the asset here in Monaco through a foreign company, the registering tax, instead of being 4.5%, will be raised to 7.5%.
What is the average price of an apartment in Monaco?
About the flats here in Monaco, today the price per square meter is about 52,000. It depends of the area, of the building, of the view, the condition of the apartments, and like in all the countries it works in the same way. But I will say that I will give you a range. So the minimum prices starts around, for residential property I'm talking about 30,000 per square meter, and for the most exclusive properties it can go up to 120,000 per square meter. And regarding the villa, unfortunately, since we're living only on 2.1 kilometers squared, there are only a few. It's hard to give you like numbers because there are not many statistics, but I will say that you will not find a villa for less than 25-30 million, and the biggest villa in the best locations can cost a couple of 100 millions.
In your experience, what was the most expensive apartment sold in Monaco?
It's always a bit confidential. As far as I'm aware, there was a big transaction recorded a couple of years ago on the Avenue d'Ostende, just before the Casino Square, on the penthouse with a wonderful view on the port of Monaco and the old city. And according to the rumors, the price was over 200 million. But we are expecting soon higher transactions, especially on the new little territory that is under construction, which is called Maretera, where there are a couple of villas for sale, and some of them are listed above this level of prices.
How much does it cost to own an apartment in Monaco?
It will be the same than in all the countries. So you will have the condominium rule charges to pay for the maintenance of the building. If you have like special services such as the concierge, swimming pool, gym area. After, you will have your electricity, your internet consumptions, your water consumptions. Other than that, there is nothing else.
Can I rent out the property I own and make an income?
Yes, you can. If you can decide to rent your apartment, you just have to have a proper rental contract. You are free to fix the price you want on your property, and after there are some formalities to do with the fiscal services here in Monaco. In average, you should expect in Monaco, in terms of rental yield, about 2% net profits when you own a residential property. Depending, obviously, the level of the property, if you get higher in the prices and higher in standing, the yield it normally will decrease a bit. But after, when we are selling apartments to investors here in Monaco, we say that we are not the best place probably for the rental yield, but we are the best place for the capital gain, which is over the last 10 years, in average about 6% per year of capital gain. And there is no taxes on the added value that you will make when you will resell your apartment.
What are your favorite areas in Monaco that you can recommend?
If I have to give my own opinion, it will be probably Fontvieille. So Fontvieille is like a little village inside the city. It has the particularity to be, first of all, a flat land, which is convenient for elder people. You have all amenities you can expect. You have also gardens, activities for the kids. I like also La Condamine because it's one of the eldest part of Monaco, where you will have all restaurants, pedestrian area. You will always feel vibes and energy, and it's really central, so you can go everywhere by walk quite quickly. And there is the new also upcoming area where you have the sea extension, who's called Mare Terra, and where you have the public beach of Monaco, who's called the Larvoto, that is getting more and more attractive.
And what are your favorite residences?
Probably one of the last one that was done because we are trying to improve the qualities of the building and to basically match the international clientele expectations that they have, especially when they spend that much money in renting or buying an apartment. So I will go for Odeon Tower or the 26 Carré d'Or.
In which area of Monaco do you live?
Personally, I live in the exotic garden, so on the upper side of Monaco, on the north side of Monaco, which is a bit more affordable in terms of prices, but you can also have beautiful view, like the postal card view on the port, because you are basically contemplating all the Principality, and it's a bit more quiet as well.
So, do you want to leave and move to Monaco? Or you have any questions left? Please write in the comments. And if you want me and Florian help you to find the best apartment in Monaco or Monte-Carlo, feel free to message me on WhatsApp or Telegram. All my contacts are below. And like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss anything exciting in the future. That's it for today, and I look forward to welcoming you in Monaco.